Victoria 3's Dev Diary number 2, entitled Capacities, was posted on June 3, 2021. In it, Wiz expands on the previously stated promise to not include mana in Victoria 3. He clarifies this promise by defining mana specifically as, quote, an overly abstract concept or vague idea. In lieu of mana, Victoria 3 will contain a feature known as Capacities, 3 groups of points that are generated and spent in the same turn, meaning any excess will not accumulate. That's not to say excess points are wasted, however. Any generated capacity which is not used up will give a scaling bonus correlating to how much excess capacity is being generated. Similarly, there is no cap to capacities. Instead, a scaling penalty will be inflicted upon the nation who decides to use more capacity than it generates. The first capacity is called Bureaucracy, and it is generated by government administration buildings, which employ bureaucrats. It is used up by the number of incorporated states, as well as the population within those states. It can also be consumed by institutions, the examples being law enforcement and education, which Wiz promises to expand on at a further date. In the provided screenshot, we see a preview of what this feature may look like. We can see that due to the amount of states, the population, and the fact that Level 1 law enforcement and Level 3 education have been enacted, Sweden is running at a bureaucratic deficit, causing a penalty referred to as tax waste. This seems self-explanatory and directly scales to the size of the deficit. The second capacity is called Authority and is generated by your nation's laws. The more authoritarian your country is, the more authority is generated. It is consumed by enacting decrees within states, interacting with interest groups, and either promoting or banning types of goods. In this provided screenshot, we see the authority gained from Sweden's various enacted laws. We also see it being spent on road maintenance, which is presumably an example of the state decrees mentioned before, as well as a consumption tax on liquor, again alluded to by the ban on certain goods. Due to having excess authority, Sweden has a bonus to their enactment rate, which will apparently affect the speed at which new laws can be passed. As opposed to bureaucracy's tax waste deficit, this bonus to enactment rate is not equivalent to the excess. The final capacity is called Influence and is generated primarily by your nation's status, with great powers earning the most influence, major powers earning influence beneath that, and so on. It is consumed by ongoing diplomatic actions and relationships, such as improving relations, alliances, trade deals, subjects, and so on. In the final attached screenshot of the diary, we can see that Sweden's personal union over Norway is using 50 influence, while improving relations with Prussia is using 300. By having excess influence, it appears that Sweden will have an enhanced rate of threat decay, appearing to be equivalent to half that of the percentage of the excess. We can also see that the fact that Sweden is ruled by a ruler with the ambitious trait, they gain quite a bit more influence. I am Nick Applesauce, and that is just the facts of Dev Diary 2.